Hello and welcome. This is Barry Reisman with another edition of the House Whisperer Show on WWDB Talk 860. Stay tuned for expert advice about maintaining your house from the roof to the basement and everything in between. From the man who talks to houses and hears what they have to say, professional home inspector Jack Milne, and he has a vitally important topic today, so please listen to every word he has to say. Jack, glad to have you on the air again on WWDB. You are on.
Well, thank you, Barry. It's always good to be back, and I'm getting some good feedback to the show. And Barry, I want to thank you as well as DB for the opportunity to spread the word, as they say. And my little motto is where every house has a story, and there's a lot to that, because being a professional home inspector and meeting new people every day, it's amazing as to what the conditions of the homes are that people are buying. And sometimes even some of the older homes are pristine, and sometimes even the pristine homes need a little bit of help. So I truly enjoy what I do, and then here I am on the air on Sundays with you, Barry. So once again, thank you. Today's topic is child safety after school. And again, as the house whisperer, I do what I can to keep the topics up to date. And we all know the kids are going back to school now. I know my child actually started before Labor Day and had a few days off for some of the Jewish holidays shortly thereafter. But, you know, it's an adjustment for the kids. It's an adjustment for the parents. And at some point, parents have to make this decision as to when to hand the key of the house over to their child. And I think it comes at different times, but I think most of us do it when the child is either 12 or 13. I do have to be careful how I use the word child, because children to me are between like 6 to 10. Then we get into that adolescent phase, and then they become teenagers. And once they become teenagers, well, you know, they're really known for their lack of responsibility rather than taking something on. So I see this today's show as a chance to give some responsibility to our teenagers and to take some of the responsibility off us so that we don't have to go 90 miles an hour to be home in time for the bus or the bicycle ride, or, you know, our children who actually walk home. But before I really kick in, again, I do like to thank my sponsors, because without them I wouldn't be on the air. So Burr Exterminating, I do want to bring Rob Bruno on as the seasons change so we can talk about those pests that come in and bother us when we start to close our windows and doors. And, you know, right now crickets are everywhere. So be quick on that sliding glass door, because before you know it, they're going to be chirping inside. But Burrow's number is 610-586-5640. Bucksmont Inspections. If you on an on-site sewage system, be it a cesspool, a sand mound, a cesspool septic system, there's so many different varieties. If you have any questions, please reach out to Rob Bowie at 215-669-4213. Pest Blasters, if you need mold testing, radon testing, wood-destroying insect evaluations, they do serve Bucks County, Montgomery County, most of the areas that Tri-County visits. And their number is 215-295-5555. Of course, my company, Tri-County Inspection Company, we're in 13 counties. We do like local numbers. So for South Jersey, 856-853-4224. Delaware County, 610-296-2004. And Bucks County, 215-295-2030. When I started Tri-County, I never wanted that 1-800 impression. I want to be your neighborhood home inspector. And, of course, the last group, brainfleshgear.com, for that active sportswear. If you have any ideas, these guys can put it together for you and make it real. So, and again, I always ask, you know, please use my sponsors. I'm more than happy to put them out there and spread their name. They will do an excellent job for you. Before I kick in the email box, and thank you for responding, my listeners out there. I do appreciate that. Joanne from Westchester sent me an email and had a question about the smart meters. And after listening to your show, I did go out and looked at my electric meter, and it did not blink. I assume I still have the old meter and have not been updated yet. Is this correct? And in response to Joanne, you are correct. There's been 160,000 new meters provided to date. But if you come home and everything is blinking in your house, like the power's gone off, chances are it has. So by January 1st, 2014, those who have the new meters will have new rates. So please, I ask that you visit thehousewhisperershow.com for any of the older episodes and email me at thehousewhisperershow@gmail.com. And anyone who's interested in sponsoring, please reach out to me at 215-295-2030, and before you know it, we can have you on the air too. So let's kick into today's topic, child safety after school. As more and more children are walking, riding their bikes, or taking the bus home, they are coming home to houses that are unoccupied. And why is that? I don't know the actual statistics, but men go off to work, but so are women. And there's this period in time where if you can afford to have mom at home during the child-rearing years, God bless, because it's the best way to raise a child. But if there's a time, though, that I think when you sit home and you want to get back to work and you're sitting there from 9 to 3, of course doing your household chores that are required or needed, but there comes a time where you say, honey, I want to go back out and join the workforce. I've done my job, and now I want to find something else to do. So you're going to sit down with your child and you say, listen, it's time that you have to take on some responsibility of your own. And, you know, with the school just starting this year, new rules and discussions will be a requirement. And if your child walks to school, I would ask that you walk the route with them. And because they may take the fastest route, but it may not be I think I said that backwards. They may take the fastest route, but not necessarily the safest route. And I think mom and dad, if you have that opportunity, walk to school with them. It's a great bonding time. You get to know what's on their minds because it's fresh, new experience for them. I know my son is 13, and he's going to 8th grade, which I call the bridge year. So he's the king of middle school, but he has to focus on, you know, getting across the bridge to high school. I would also do the same thing with children who are on bikes. There are sometimes means of egresses through the neighborhood that keeps them off the main roads, but jump on a bike too and ride your bike with your son or daughter and see which route they take and find the best route, the safest for them. And once a pattern is established, I always, you know, tell my son, go the same way every day. If you're going to go ahead and take a different route, then call us and let us know that you're going to be home a little bit later than planned. Cell phones, I think almost every child at the age of 13 has a cell phone. And make sure they carry it. There's one thing to owning one. There's one thing to have it on your person. Granted, in school, you can't have it in a pocket, but you can have it in your backpack. And make sure it stays charged. So the other thing about patterns is that older folks will get used to seeing your child pass by on a regular basis and actually almost becomes an ally. So for those who are now the empty nesters or the retired, you know, they actually look forward to the kids coming off the bus or, you know, walking by or riding their bikes on a daily basis. It's almost time to say, hey, it's 3:15 and here they go. Also, always have a neighbor with your phone number. You know, and to me, that's an extra bonus. I have a dear neighbor, Uncle Ed, across the street, and you know, and there's a reason we call him an uncle because he's watched over our kids as they've gotten off the bus for quite a long, long time. For buses, there should be a friend on board, just in case. Most likely, they're going to be at the same bus stop. If your child's not on the bus, then have the child's parent contact you if they don't make the bus. If they missed it, if they had to stay after for extracurricular activities, homework assignments, whatever. But, you know, there should always be a buddy on the bus. And this way, if the child's not on the bus, you have a neighborhood parent, you know, reach out to you and let them know why. Again, how old should your son or daughter be to have a cell phone? You know, we gave one to our son in 7th grade. And opinions may vary, but with today's segment, is really geared for the 12 or 13-year-old who should be old enough and hopefully mature enough to be home alone, do their homework, eat and play. But, as we all know, if it was only that easy. So with age comes responsibility. At 12 or 13, I know it's hard to get them into the shower. It's hard to get them to use deodorant. But they should be old enough to carry a key to the house, open the door, and get in. But I also suggest that they do lock the door behind them. It's going to be a new experience for them being home alone. So, once they come in through the garage, they come in through the front door, the back door, whatever their means of egress is, they should get into the habit of locking the door behind them. There's also, from what I understand, apps available for your phone that if your house door opens, you'll actually be notified by either ADT or some of the security companies. I think even Verizon may carry that option. So, Barry, before I kick in a little bit more, why don't we take a commercial break?
You're listening to Jack Milne. He is the house whisperer. He is the one who talks to houses, and I think sometimes the houses talk back. In fact, they always talk back to him because he can hear what they have to say. We're going to be right back right after these very important messages on the House Whisperer Show.
Boro Exterminating has been specializing in wood-destroying insect inspection and control for over 40 years, serving Philadelphia and the surrounding counties. All inspectors are state certified and ensure providing their clients with professional inspections and treatments. Boro not only performs conventional termite treatments, but also handles special services like historic buildings and homes with wells, creeks, or ponds. The client is assured that all treatments will be performed safely when you hire Boro to do the work. They also provide radon testing in their service area. Boro's full-time office staff is available to help you schedule an appointment. Just call 610-586-5640 or send an email request to boroinspects@verizon.net. That's 610-586-5640 or email at boroinspects@verizon.net.
Specially created t-shirts by BrainFlushGear.com offer the extreme sports enthusiast an opportunity to have a clothing line available that suits their sport. BrainFlushGear.com understands that when we get the moment where we can jump on our motorcycles, wave runners, surfboards, snowmobiles, or skateboards, it can be priceless. They offer custom artwork including silk screening, transfers, and embroidery. Speak to one of their consultants today and they'll help you create your own Brain Flush. Visit BrainFlushGear.com or email them at contact@BrainFlushGear.com.
For your septic inspection and testing needs, please consider Bucksmont Inspections. They've been serving the Bucks and Montgomery County areas for over 15 years. As members of the Pennsylvania Septic Management Association, the Pennsylvania Association of Sewage Enforcement Officers, and the Pennsylvania Association for Professional Soil Scientists, Bucksmont Inspections can inspect your existing septic system or test for your new septic system placement. Please call Rob Bowie at 215-669-4213 and say you heard their ad on the House Whisperer Show.
As the weather gets cooler and the temperatures drop, the bugs might slow down, but the rodents don't stop. Mice and rats begin to invade homes during the fall and winter months, looking for food, warmth, and a comfortable place to nest. Don't wait for pesky rodents to invade your home. Fight back. Have your home baited and ready for their attack with Pest Blaster. Whether preventative or a full-blown infestation, give Pest Blaster a call at 215-295-5555 and they can discuss the solution to your problem. They also offer humane animal removal services for a wide variety of wild animals, damage repairs, and cleanups. Call them today at 215-295-5555 or check them out at pestblaster.com, servicing both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Pest Blaster, 215-295-5555 or pestblaster.com for all your pest control needs.
Tri-County Inspection Company has been providing professional home inspections, commercial inspections, and historic property evaluations for over 25 years. Tri-County Inspection Company covers 13 counties, serving both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. They've performed inspections for over 70,000 clients and are members of the American Society of Home Inspectors, as well as the Pennsylvania Home Inspectors Coalition. They're licensed in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. For all of your real estate transactions, call Tri-County Inspections at 215-295-2030. For their New Jersey clientele, call 856-853-4224. In PA, call 215-295-2030. In New Jersey, 856-853-4224.
Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
And we are back with Jack Milne, the House Whisperer, on WWDB. And Jack's topic today is vitally important. Please pay very close attention. It's about child safety after school. Jack, take it away.
Well, thank you, Barry. We talked about some of the responsibilities, having the key, having the cell phone, having neighbors be aware of times that the bus drives up the road or when the child comes up on their bicycle. But let's get to some of the more that I feel important things. You want to teach your child about some of the workings of the house. First off, where's the water main shut off? Now, some people don't even know where it is in their own homes, but you want to familiarize yourself and your child with that location. It could be on the front wall. It could be in a closet. If it's surrounded by, in quote, stuff, make it available, because you never know when a laundry line could break. The ice maker line is broken. They come in the house, they see water on the floor. This way they don't panic. They go to the water main shutoff. They can shut the house down and then make a phone call. Again, this is something that you should do with both parents. And I would advise that you use the valve on the building side of the meter. And what I mean by that is you can follow the water line through the foundation. It will have a ground clamp on the street side. So there'll be a shut-off valve, water meter, house valve. So you always use the house valve. Next, where's the electric main shut-off? 3 weeks ago, my dishwasher control board actually caught fire. Now, here's the home inspector's house, and the dishwasher caught fire. It was kind of interesting. I came in from outside. My father-in-law was watching the football game, and I walk up, and it wasn't steam coming from underneath my countertop. It was actually smoke. By the time I opened the door, the fire was about 6 inches tall. Again, able to put it out. But, what would your child do in that scenario? They need to know where the fire extinguisher is. And keep in mind, there's a couple different types of fire extinguishers. We have one for the kitchen. We should have one in the garage, but they're different styles. So fire extinguishers are cheap. They're between $30 and $40. But you should definitely have one in the kitchen, in the pantry, where everybody knows where it is. And with electrical fires, they use a foam, okay, instead of like a water spray. So you have to have the right extinguisher for the right application. But everybody should know where the fire extinguisher is. What would they do if you opened up a front or side door and they smelled gas? And that's real. Granted, I'm going to ask them that they come back out of the house, don't go in, don't turn a light switch on, don't inquire where the gas leak may be. I'm going to ask that the child or even the wife, if that ever occurs, go back outside and call 911. And that way you can contact the local utility, be it PECO or PSE&G, whoever that may be, and they'll go ahead and alert those utilities, and they'll come out and they'll investigate for you. There's with a gas home, there's always a gas meter. On the street side of the gas meter is a shut-off valve. It does require a wrench, folks. It's not something you can easily twist between thumb and forefinger. But, and I don't mean to be sexually biased here, but for the men, if they can get a wrench out of the garage and they can line up the two circles and turn that valve to the perpendicular position, they can shut the gas main off to the home. I'm not asking for the wife to do it. I'm not asking for the child to do it. But at the end of the day, even with the gas valve off, we still do not know where that gas leak had originated. So again, the child opens a door, the wife opens the door, come back out, call 911. That's very, very important. Oven versus microwave. I know as soon as my son's in the door, what they do, they open up the refrigerator or they open up the pantry. I love my pantry. It's a double door. They puts his arms on top of it, and he just stares or he lurks to see, what kind of food he can cook as soon as he's inside the house. And microwaves, I think, most children know that a minute will cook most things, but with ovens, it's a little bit more intricate. You have to set a thermostat, of 300 to 400, 350, whatever the temperature is. And I do find that, as soon as the food is edible, heated or whatever, the oven door is closed, and then they put the TV on. They forget about the oven. So with that discussion, if they're going to make pizza, they're going to make soup, or whatever they're going to make sure that you lay strict rules as to what they can use and what they can't. So this is really important, and especially gas ovens are more prone to catch fire when left on. So I think the microwave is a safer appliance. But again, please don't burn the popcorn. I can't believe microwaves actually have a popcorn setting. But the popcorn, believe it or not, is the largest cause of fires in microwaves. Who would have thunk? So moving back outdoors slightly, let's move to garage door openers. Okay? Codes can open the doors when they get home, and transponders can close them. But when was the last time that as adults we actually did the hit and run? We're all guilty of it. And that's when you hit the wall-mounted button and you try to do the inverted limbo, over the lasers so that you can get out without having to, do it from outside the garage. But I'm going to ask parents in particular that you check both safety reverse features using the lasers as well as the downforce. I can't tell you, Barry, how many homes I do where the door starts tracking down, be it a 7-foot door or a 16-foot door, and they keep coming south. It's amazing, especially those old wooden doors. I mean, they weigh probably close to 700 to 800 pounds, the old wood doors. And the last thing you want is anyone to be trapped under them. In most of the new modern openers, if you look behind the motor assembly, there's two knobs, white or blue, and I want you to take a pocket screwdriver, adults, okay, and rotate them back like a clock to 3-330 to verify. Lasers that I understand should be at least 4 to 6 inches off the ground. I play it safer, Barry. I bring them up to 12 to 18 inches. This way, even as adults, we can't do the hit and run. Now, if it becomes a pain in the neck, to close the garage door as you're near the door, using low-voltage wiring and a doorbell, you can go ahead and put a button near the garage door within reach that you can tap the button and be safely outside the door as it trails down. But don't, I did a house the other day where the lasers were actually mounted on the concrete slab. So the lasers themselves were maybe 1 inch to maybe 2 inches off the concrete. Any child can do the hit and run on that. But please make sure that the downforce feature works, okay? Is it necessary to give your child a transponder, in other words, carry it in their briefcase? I think that's a business decision, but I think it does become more important if there's not a keyed entry door going into the garage. So if that's the case, either the transponder in the briefcase or through Sears or LiftMaster or Genie, one of the garage door manufacturers, you can get a keypad that can be mounted on the garage door jamb, and you hit a 3 to a 4 numbered sequence, and that will open the door for you. For those who don't have a garage entry door, like a passage door, and you want to do a garage door opener, there's actually a safety cable that has to be run through the face of the garage door with a key. Now, the purpose of that is in case you have power loss, you use the key, you can literally pull the cable. That, in turn, will release that red cable that we all see dangling from our garage door opener, and that will allow you to get inside the garage in case there's no power. So for those of you out there who are listening, if you don't have that cable, that, again, can be purchased through your Home Depots, Lowe's, or other hardware stores. Now, let's think about other things. Playing in the yard. Okay, we all want our kids to exercise and to be active after sitting in school all day. But if you're not at home or available, who is the responsible party? And I think that's a very important thing to think about. And if you are the parents and own the home, unfortunately, parents, you are the responsible party. I think of pools, trampolines, skateboards, and other kid-related activities will fall on you and your insurance company. And God forbid, if your neighbor's an attorney. I know we might have another second or so, but in closing, I want you as parents to put all the critical numbers by your phone. In case there's a panic, you want your poison lines, your police, local ambulance, closest 3 neighbors. Just in case you're not reachable. You always want to make sure that there's a person close by that can calm down any bad situation. So, Barry, next week we're going to talk about trees. I know you've had some issues that we've discussed over the past few weeks. We love them, but the maintenance involved. So you're listening to Jack Milne, the House Whisperer, and as it is Sunday, please spend time with your family and friends. And I'll see you next week on WWDB.
Hey, Jack, thank you so much. And let me invite everybody to tune in again next week for another edition of the House Whisperer Show. You just heard him, professional home inspector Jack Milne. And to listen to previous programs, or if you have any questions, visit thehousewhisperershow.com. Thanks a lot, Jack. Always good talking to you.
Thank you, Barry. I'll see you next week.